When watching high-level play, do you ever wonder why some players whiff attacks on certain sequences? Did they mess up? Or is it some sort of bait? It's not hitting the opponent, so why add an extra action? Wouldn't that be prone to more mistakes? And after all of that, they just go for an overhead? Wait, why did that combo? Elena's overhead is only +2 on hit. It shouldn't combo to a 4-frame move unless it counters or punishes. What's going on here? There's a lot of questions here, but to understand how any of this works, you need to understand one concept: hacking. Darn cheaters, go report them. I'm kidding. It's meaty attacks and frame kills. First off, let's understand what meaty attacks are. Meaty attacks are when a move hits in the later active frames. Active frames are parts of an attack where it has a hitbox to connect onto opponents. I did a full detailed explanation on how the concept of frames work in another video, so check that out if the terminology is foreign to you. For example, Elena's overhead has 3 active frames and 1 hitbox. When hitting an opponent in neutral state, the strike will always hit on the first active frame. This will result in a +2 frame advantage on hit, so Elena will not be able to link any other attacks since her fastest normal has a 4-frame startup. Now what happens when I hit the opponent in the second frame of the active window? 3-frame advantage. How about the third? +4. The reason why the frame advantage is increasing as it goes into the later parts of the active frames is because regardless of when the attack hits, the amount of hit stun that the opponent is in is always constant. So the later it hits, the faster you recover before the opponent. Now, one of the most consistent way to do this is on opponent wake up, as they are fully invincible while they are on the ground, so you don't have to worry about attacks hitting on the first active frame. Great, this sounds like an extremely strong Okizeme technique. Elena can now do a much more damaging combo from an overhead by making it meaty. But a new problem rises. I now have to do a frame perfect input to combo into her 4-frame follow-up. There is no way to make this consistent for most people if it's manually timed. Go give it a try. Do her light scratch wheel in the corner and try to get a +4 overhead attack in. I can maybe get lucky once out of 20 times. Imagine doing that in a match. Yeah, no good. To combat this problem, you can do a technique called frame kill to make this meaty overhead much more consistent. After getting a knockdown with light scratch wheel, we can see on the frame indicator that we have 36 frame advantage. We ideally want this to be 21, so if we do Elena's overhead, it will be on the 22nd, which will be the 3rd and last active frame. How do we do this? One way to set this exact timing is to whiff a 15-frame move. Why? Because 36 minus 21 is 15. And luckily, Elena's crouching light kick has a total of 15 frames. So after a light scratch wheel knockdown, with a crouching light kick, then do her overhead. If all these are executed without gaps, that meaty attack should connect in a way that should give you +4 on hit. Normal manual timing, and a very consistent way of getting that meaty hit. This is possible due to using crouching light kick as a filler to consume the exact number of frames, and skilling them to set up the perfect timing. As good as frame kills are, one weakness is that it telegraphs what kind of Okizeme is coming for the people who are knowledgeable. Oh, crouching light kick frame kill? I'm going to block high. The nice thing about this particular setup is that after frame killing with crouching light kick, Elena can whiff a crouching light punch afterwards, then do a low hitting crouching medium kick. This is also a meaty hit setup that would allow her to combo into a 6-frame attack if it hits. Amazing high-low frame kill mix-up that is very hard to react to. And if the opponent decides to give up in parry, you can simply go for a throw after faking the opponent out with frame kills. The key factor here is that you can also use frame kills as baits. It doesn't always have to end up with the same meaty attacks. My recommendations when doing frame kill setups is first do the most potent mix-up, in this case, doing Elena's overhead. At lower levels, most players will not know this setup. My climb to master with this character was extremely quick due to spamming this over and over in the corner. Not a single person blocked it. However, at higher MR, some people started recognizing it, so the low medium kick setup and throws did a lot more work. The important thing is to knowledge check your opponent and act accordingly. Another way to use frame kills is to make certain block sequences more potent. For example, Mai's back heavy kick is -1 on block if it hits on the first frame. It is a very clear, it's my turn to press button situation for the opponent. However, by doing frame kills in certain setups, you can make the attack hit meaty. So even if the opponent blocks and retaliates with their fastest non-invisible move, your follow-up attack can counter-hit them. Great tool against people who know the basic frame data. I'm going to jump to a different game for the last example. This one will show how frame kills can ease execution for certain techniques. In Guilty Gear Xrd, Raven has a very unique movement option called Glide. If he does an instant air dash input, instead of doing the traditional forward burst of movement, he flies forward at a specific height for an extended period. However, if he does this at greater heights and attacks at a specific timing, he can cancel the forward trajectory to a diagonal one, which can be used for high-low mix-ups or to bait reversals. The problem with this though is that depending on height and when the attack is pressed, the trajectory will change and the attack will hit or miss in unintended ways. For example, Raven can do a diagonal glide and do one hit high with slash, then land for a low. But if he starts the glide too low to the ground, his attack will whiff. As another mix-up option, he can whiff heavy slash to go for an empty low. But if he starts the glide too high, the heavy slash will hit. Now, if you look at the height differences, it's not much, but affects the outcome. To alleviate these inconsistencies, Raven can do a rising punch and glide immediately after recovery. If done correctly, he can do the glide at a height which will allow him to do both a one high to low or empty low mix-up. No more accidental misses or hits. Hope that helped. These are some of the ways to use frame kills to make your Okizeme and techniques more consistent. If you have any other ways to use them, let me know in the comments. As for the Elena and Mai mix-ups, you can watch my full combo and Okizeme guide on this channel to learn various setups. Lastly, if you have love to share, support me on Patreon. Much thanks to Flying Wolfox, Creature with a Long Nose, and Vision Helping Device. Alright, until next time, have fun with fighting games.